It's Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Monday. So sick of this racist crap. This racist crap. This racist crap. I'm happy where I am, where everybody's miserable. I know how to do radio, 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 radio. So sick of this racist crap. This racist crap. This racist crap. So sick of this racist crap. This racist crap. This racist crap.
All right, gonna draw Opie again, and I think that just becomes a Monday thing. Maybe not, permanently, but certainly whenever there's something that comes along. And this time, thanks once again to Who Are These Podcasts? So I was listening and watching it while at work. And this particular clip detailed, and Anthony was there for the show as well and all that. But he, there's been things back and forth between him and Anthony, and he's always done this thing where he suggests he's, I guess, got some serious dirt on Anthony if you knew what he did. Which the conundrum there is, of course, he never says that whatever this is supposed to be. And then he says, oh, so he's this really horrible guy, yet you were willing to partner with him. The show between the two of you only ended when he got fired, so he doesn't really have anything. I don't think, but he does that when it concerns Anthony. And this clip that they were watching, he started in on Sam Roberts. Now, once Opie got fired for, videotaping a co-worker trying to take a dump in the restroom, Sam and Jim Norton continued on. Recently, it's now just Sam now, as Jim decided to leave the show and do his own thing and all that. But and I can't remember the sequence, if this was after Opie had gotten fired that he was groaning about, or if it was I think he just suddenly took an extended vacation or something, and just expected them to make do with I guess a best of Opie radio thing or something. I can't remember exactly what all the deal was, where Jim and Sam decided to just go ahead and do the show without him. And of course, once he was fired, I guess that's if I'm understanding it, the template was already there that they had the makings of a show to continue without Opie, which is what happened, and that Opie saw this as some kind of betrayal. Now I'm not exactly certain. He expected them to take a vacation for that amount of time than he did. Was that the argument, or did he literally think that they were supposed to just leave out of solidarity for him getting himself fired over a stupid stunt that he did at work? Keep in mind, Anthony blew up about the woman who assaulted him in Times Square, and they decided on Twitter at the time, and Sirius XM decided to fire him over his rant, which he really pretty mild compared to things that were ever said on the show. But nevertheless, that's that's what happened, and yet this was on his own private account. It's doesn't involve the show or anything. Whereas Opie did this to basically an employee of Sirius, or Sirius XM rather, and but that they were supposed to go as well. I don't know. It's odd. Nevertheless, so that's where he considers Sam and Jim Norton stabbed him in the back. And I keep coming back to this. I had no idea it was that bad. I mean, there was always people saying that Anthony and Opie weren't friends anymore, that they literally hated each other and all this stuff. And it turns out to, for the most part, it was true. It's spot on. Anthony's discussed it in his book and whatnot, and you get more of the details and understand how these things go and all that. But had no idea that he particularly did not like Jim Norton, all that time. So anyway, but since Jim and Sam became the show, I guess saw that as a betrayal. So he starts in on Sam Roberts. He's of course gone after mostly Anthony, but went after Jimmy, went after E-Rock recently about the catalog, I suppose, of the Opie and Anthony shows, and that's a long-winded story. And you hear E-Rock's side of it, and of course, it's all very rational. It fits in with events, so it's like, well, probably going to go with his version of the story and all that. But anyway, he just, in the course of the conversation, saying that he had a good friendship with Sam, and that Sam and his wife and Opie's wife, Sam's wife and Opie's wife, had become really good friends and visited and all this sort of stuff, and stayed at Opie's house and all this stuff. So he's going on about how great and jolly it all is and all this sort of stuff. And then, of course, Sam literally called him Judas. So it's not an exaggeration that he sees him as a traitor to him. But he says there was an incident where that Sam's wife came to Opie's wife in tears and was very upset. He doesn't really get to specifics about what the problem was, so but the imagination is going to run with it when he does this sort of thing. And apparently, this was supposed to have occurred before Sam and Jim took over or whatever. I don't know. Was he suggesting that she was upset that no, Sam's going to betray Opie, and I'm so upset about it? I don't know. Um, but of course, the other thing is, you know, suggesting there was terrible troubles in the marriage, that Sam's not a good guy. Uh, you know, you can you fill in the blank any way you want because Opie, you know, didn't do it. He leaves it that way uh, to trash this guy, and all very vague and you know leaving it wide open and stuff. It's the same thing he does with claiming some sinister knowledge of Anthony and this sort of thing. It's just really rotten and just spiteful, and to just do that. Uh, and then you know, I mean, if you really got something's terrible, and oh my god, I'm really concerned for Sam's wife and all this sort of thing. You know, years later, I'm going to talk. About, you know, I mean, no, it's obvious, just trying to smear the guy. So uh, the problem with the gig at the time was, you know, you violated their protocol of employment or what have you. So it's got nothing to do with Sam Roberts or Jimmy and all that. And the idea that makes them a Judas or what have you is absolutely absurd. But to sit there and just toss that sort of thing around, rather cowardly. You know, if you really did have something, I mean, him griping and groaning and all that, and everyone, you know, it's funny and stuff and rather pathetic, uh, and that sort of thing, and still so damn angry and let's admit it, just jealous of Anthony and all that sort of thing. Uh, but to do this type of thing, um, especially as far as I know, I mean, Anthony takes him on all the time, and it always, you know, gives him material and all this stuff. But I think Norton makes a point of never mentioning any of it, and is just going to ignore him. And I assume for the most part, Sam Roberts has done the same. I don't know. Uh, haven't heard his show or anything like that. So, but nevertheless, I kind of understand him being pissed off at him for this kind of crap. Uh, Certainly, it's one of those things. You got a problem with the guy, you take it up with him. You don't bring in, you know, his wife or any member of his family, really. Uh, Certainly not kids or anything like that. And he just dumps that on the floor and supposed to act like, what? I wasn't really saying anything. No, you were. I don't think it has much impact because, well, consider the source. But it's just a rotten thing to do. And just any lingering doubts or anything, you know, pretty much we're already pretty well shot. But that, you know, so just. I mean, it's interesting to think about because I'm thinking, yeah, he kept insinuating stuff about Anthony and all that, and you know, never really delving into what this is supposed to be. There was actually it was when he was still on the show with Jimmy, and if you guys knew what he did, or something of that nature, and then Jimmy's like, what did he do? And he said, well, I can't tell you. We're not close. Something. It's just, I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be. Just because you don't have anything. That's why. So, so this is very similar to that. It would appear. So, and of course, it's nasty and a bit sad, but at a certain point, it's just an asshole. I mean, geez. And he says, "Oh, no, we're friends with the family and everything, and this is what you do." Yeah, and I'm gonna go way out on a limb and speculate that perhaps whatever friendship you had with Mr. and Mrs. Sam Roberts there, um, you're the reason it's not there anymore. But what's done is done, I suppose. So anyway, there's Obster. Yeah. I didn't really know what to call the video, and I put Delusions of Grandeur and Other Tall Tales. I don't know, because I thought I would acknowledge the Snow White movie. Yeah, I never cared about the Snow White movie. I don't particularly care for the live action reenactments of the Disney cartoons and that sort of thing. In fact, I haven't seen any of them. I didn't see what was it, Lion King. They did one of those. I think they did two of them or something like that. And well, there's been a couple of them. Oh well, they recently did the Little Mermaid, But this Snow White thing was just, I don't know. It's like it's cursed or something. And was kind of like just from the outset, one thing after another would go wrong. From the get go, it was like Peter Dinklage, who has nothing to do with it, but he had to do what was he on the Mark Maron show, I guess. Said, "What are you doing, dwarves? And here you have this Latina woman cast as Snow White, and then you go backwards when it comes to little people or something like that." And and then of course cost jobs for any dwarf actors who could have played the role. And it's it's like, so they end up with these CGI characters and everything. But with the live action movies for like Lion King or whatever, well, you can't get a lion to actually play the role and read lines and I don't know, sing or whatever. It'd be pretty cool if you could achieve that, but no. So what you do is, you get the CGI stuff in there, and then, oh boy, you got dancing lions and singing lions or whatever, all that. Well, it turns out that people with dwarfism actually do exist. Oh yes, yes. Peter Dinklage isn't the only one. Oh no, there's a lot of them, and some of them want to be in the performing arts. Some of them probably can sing. Some of them certainly act and all that. And well, he decided to poo-poo all that. And the response was, "Oh yeah, we don't want to be seen as being anti-progressive or some such nonsense. So don't worry, they'll be magical creatures," which is CGI, as if it's like so well, we had to use CGI for like a dragon or something in some fantasy movie or something. Well, yeah, that's because they don't exist, but these guys do. So just, it's like you end up doing the very thing you were wanting to avoid or what have you. So right off the bat, you already had that dumb thing going on. Then they're Snow White. Okay, so she comes in, and it's the knee jerk thing of race swapping everything. So all right, you did that. Uh, the contrast between this and the Little Mermaid is there's a black lady played the Ariel mermaid character, but in interviews and everything around, I gotta admit she handled herself very well. She was just as nice as can be, and by comparison, so I felt kind of bad for her because I still think it's a dumb idea to even do the remakes and whatnot. But Ziegler just couldn't help but just spread her absolute derision and disgust at the world. Every chance she could get, she trashes the story, the original movie, claiming it gave her nightmares or some such nonsense. That the prince was, a stalker or something like this, and all that. And of course, that the character is now some sort of revolutionary, and is not. It's not a love story and this sort of thing. Plus, there's the added problem of Gal Gadot is the evil queen who's jealous of her beauty. In what universe is that possible? I mean, hey, come on. So, and it's one of those things. It's like if she had been like the lady who did the mermaid, I'd be more sympathetic towards her and wouldn't, still think the movie's a dumb idea and whatnot. But I wouldn't really trash her. But this attitude that Ziegler has had. Then, of course, political issues come into play. The Israeli Hamas war and all that comes in. And of course, Gal Gadot is Israeli, served in the Israeli Defense Force and all that. And, you can imagine the odds that they would be at from that. And it's like, you want to put yourself into all this. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. One could just, hey, separate the art from the artist, but it's just a cheap reboot, redo of the movie. And with Snow White, it's particularly more important than some of the others in that the original Snow White animated feature made Disney. I mean, they owe everything, their existence, to that movie. And then, like 100 years later, right? I mean, I guess 100 years, I think. Damn it, what was forgetting anyway, the point of the matter, it's not 100 years, is that in response to it, this is it. And I suppose, is it like this is the bookends of the end of Disney? No. It's all very sad. But, that's the way the cookie crumbles on this endeavor, it appears. So, but that's what she wanted to do, and it appears to have bombed. I don't know the career that Ziegler could have had. I don't think she will. Of course, who the hell knows what iteration of cinematic entertainment will take. It's constant flux and strange transition, if you will, due to all new technologies and habits of viewing. But a lot of things like this very attempt came at the worst possible time when there would be this, you know, a what's the word, a conflagration, if you will, of technology, of the technology changing uh, viewing habits and all this sort of thing of people, generations shifting and what have you, rather dramatically in a short span of time. And then you decide that's the time I'm going to pursue, I guess, a business model of some sort, or the approach of entertainment uh, that nobody wants or likes, and all indicators, but to take this arrogant approach that, well, I'm going to shame you into the seats and make you like it because I'm giving you what you need, not what you want, and so on and so forth. Uh, After constant examples for quite a few years that this will not work, uh, pursued anyway with reckless abandon. And Snow White will be no different, even though it's mostly just kind of stupid. I don't know, other than the identity nonsense and deconstruction stuff and all that kind of thing. So I suppose there's a bit here and there because I mean you couldn't have the her dreaming about the Prince song in it, which was one of the more beloved songs of the whole thing. So what was the point? Well, there's a point. Um, and it's just burn the money. Um, so it's just like her name, her face, her image, and is synonymous with this colossal failure. And she did herself no favors. Like I said, had she been like the Little Mermaid actress, she'd be in a much better place. You know, but she had to go out there and just shove a middle finger in front of everybody, over and over again. And message received, and well, that's that. So, never really did much, never did any videos on it. I was never going to go see the movie and all that. Uh, it's just the only interest is that it's a metric of the current movie industry and whatnot as it continues to destroy itself. So I'm sure the results will be featured on the Wednesday Pop Culture Breakdown with Overlord DVD. And I don't know. I'll probably send him a thumbnail with this picture. Since I never did any Ziegler cartoons, I was like, yeah, this thing sounded doomed from the start. It was, and I think when they started, Disney put an embargo on interviews with her and stuff, yeah, or something of that nature. It was reminiscent of Ezra Miller in the Flash movie, and I mean Ezra Miller. I mean that was all with him and the young girls and everything, that, and then getting busted all the time, and guns and breaking into people's houses to steal beer or something. I don't know, whatever. Just one meltdown after another. Well, Rachel didn't do any of that. So she doesn't even have a mental breakdown as an excuse for you say, hey, look, I was going through some things and I lost control, and for that I'm great. I'm very, very sorry. And but what's she gonna do? Yeah, I didn't really mean to, you know, tell everybody if you like the old Snow White, you're weird, weird, and all that. The prince was a predatory stalker who kissed Snow White without her consent. Good God, what are we doing? So I suppose he could have just left her there, dead in the thing, because that's what the apple did. I don't know what the movie does now. Um, I guess, technically speaking, she was what, in suspended animation? So the prince was, well, I'd kiss her to let her out of there, but that would be wrong. I really don't have her consent, so it's too bad, she's really beautiful. And then he just goes off, marries some other girl, and everything's fine, but Snow White stays there for, centuries. And then, I don't know, somebody kisses her at some point, and it's the distant future. It's, wow, they missed their chance. It would be Snow White in space. And so she's got to save the universe from the evil empire. So, see, they could cross it over into Star Wars now because they own that too. There you go. See, God, you guys are stupid. You don't know how to do anything. But, oh well. In the end, it was all weird, weird. Oh well. Hey, let's see what the chat's doing. A. Thompson says, Doug. Hey, you know what? That's my name too. A. Thompson, Carmix has an Opie breakdown in slow-mo. Funniest thing I have seen in a few months. So he slowed it down and he's like, I know how to do radio. Like that. Andy Masterson says, morning, Doug. Morning, Andy. Yeah, Andy he's on the Pop Culture Breakdown show as well. Say, Andy, did you see Snow White? I didn't, and I'm not going to. Someone banging at the door. Well, I'm going to ignore that. The lovely Sherry says, hi. Hi, Sherry. The lovely Sherry, the prince is now a thief, and Snow White looks like she could have been one of the dwarves. Well, they could have done that, So he's a thief. Why is he even in the movie at all? I mean, I don't know. I kind of wondered if he would take, because I did see the trailer where she gives him an apple, and I wondered, is that the apple that Gal Gadot gave her? And then she was supposed to eat it, but she didn't. So she gives it to the guy who's, I don't know what, the Prince of Thieves or something. And then, oh no, now he's in suspended animation. And so Snow White's got to kiss him because it's okay for her to kiss him without his consent. And then, he comes back from the great beyond, or Sleepy Land, or whatever the hell it is. And yay. And together they overthrow the evil queen and, rule the kingdom with absolute power. And the people just love it, because they're all singing songs and they're just like, oh, this is great. Now we're free from the tyranny of Gal Gadot, and now we can live under the tyranny of Rachel. Hey, wait a minute. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe there's a sequel. See, like I said, you should have gone into outer space. Yeah. And I don't know. Rachel learns the ways of the Force. Well, anyway, there you go. There she is. I gotta erase all this and then put color to it. Oh yes, yes, color. Mm, but this is supposed to be from the moment she was saying that Snow White was weird, 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 and possibly extremely perverted. But and at the time, even that, I thought, she's just kind of stupid. I guess she thinks she's being funny or something. I don't know. But geez Louise, no. Yeah. It's deep in the idiot Kool-Aid. And oh, no, I messed it up. Sorry, Rachel. Jeez, I don't know. But don't worry, Photoshop will fix that. That's what it's for. It's Photoshop. See, it's not a shop where you go shopping for photos. No, no. It's like a workshop. Yes, that's right. You go in there with your photos. Because even though, hey, this is a drawing, it's not a photo. Well, but it's going to be photographed when it's scanned in. See? So technically, everything in Photoshop is a photo. Yes. Yes. The lovely Sherry says the photo looks spectacular. It's a close resemblance to Rachel. Oh well, thank you. The lovely Sherry, it's exactly the same, actually. Yeah, well, I tried, and I mean, she wasn't wearing the getup, but I just added that in. Um, and I wonder what's next for Rachel, and then how much? I mean, because really, they said that Disney was wanting to shut her up and all this sort of stuff, but ultimately, Disney is. It's not like they're a victim here. They were promoting that stuff, and I'm sure the whole idea of the approach to Snow White was theirs. It's not Rachel. She didn't write the crap. So she's running around saying all this stuff, and then, the response has been really poor. Oh, Rachel, it's all you. Well, to some extent, sure. And then her other idiot comments about things she obviously knows nothing about is on her. But as far as the Snow White movie goes, it's kind of what you guys intended. It's what you wanted. But whatever. When the public turns on you, it's going to be a tough road to try to come back. And I don't know in what. By all accounts, I've seen some people talk about it. And they said, well, the best thing I can say about it is that she can sing. She's not a bad singer and that sort of thing. Which, I mean, I guess it was Spielberg had saw her singing in something when he was casting for his, West Side Story. And that's how she got that role. And which I also didn't see. Not a big musical fan. There's a few exceptions here and there. I always go to Wizard of Oz. I never really saw it as a musical, but it's a musical. It absolutely is a musical. But it'll always have a special place for my childhood. And but anyway, I wonder are they gonna? Well, of course they've done several redos of that, but I imagine there'll be a deconstruction of Wizard of Oz as well. So I'm going to need to take a little break and put this into the. I need to leave this alone. Into that digital workshop we commonly refer to as Photoshop. Geez, there. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let me geez, boy, a bunch of people are saying looks spectacular. Lovely Sherry, A. Thompson. There is basically a Marvel movie coming out monthly for 2025. Monthly. Let's see. We already had Captain America: Brave New World. Then there's Thunderbolts. And then the Fantastic Four. Now that's only 3 that I know of. So that can't possibly be every month. But then there's the shows too. So you got Daredevil that nobody's watching, which, man, that's a bad sign for Marvel going forward. I don't know I guess what the Ironheart show is supposed to follow that. So I guess if you can't count that, so you have, okay, a movie, a DP show, movie, another DP show, and then a movie, and then I guess there'll be a DP show after that. So maybe that's the thinking. Hey, Thompson, I've never heard of most of these characters. Well, Ironheart is brand new and was created just for, the message and conjured up and all of that. Daredevil's been around since the 60s. The Thunderbolts, that's a bit complicated. And it's not really resembling the Thunderbolts at all. I don't know how to describe it. Well, anyway, nobody really knows it. Heard things about it. It's probably not bad. In fact, it's probably a much better than the Captain America one they just did. But nobody knows what it is, so I don't know. The lovely Sherry, Rachel will be in the musical Evita. So this is a film? So she cast as Eva Peron. So there you go. See, everything works out. A. Thompson, specifically, what is wrong with Snow White? Oh, geez, I just talked about it. A. Thompson, as long as dwarves are included. Well, they're not. I think there's one dwarf they have in there. He's not playing one of the 7 dwarves. The 7 dwarves are these CGI cartoons. So it's like, and I think someone said, hey, look, it's tough to find 7 dwarf actors that are any good to play the part or something like that. I'm like, buddy, shut up, White. But oh well. The lovely Sherry says the dwarves were CGI, not real people. Yeah, so in a roundabout way of the nonsense that they put themselves through and contort themselves into, they end up insulting the very people that they seem to convince themselves we can't cast you because, it would be, bigoted or something. Look, they're stupid. That's all there is to it. A. Thompson, I heard some BS about Wicked. My daughter and I enjoyed it. Most of the people that saw it said it was pretty good. I've seen some of the reviews for Snow White, and they're saying I expected Wicked to be crap, but it was actually pretty good. Whereas Snow White, they're saying, ugh. So, take that for what it's worth. A. Thompson, movies, shows monthly. A. Thompson, Marvel Zombies. Oh, the what if thing. Yeah. Wonder Man. Yeah. See, Wonder Man's one of these things. That's another race swap. There's things you could do with Wonder Man, and it sounds like that's exactly what they're going to do. It's just he's going to be black now. But that actor played Black Manta in the Aquaman movies. And he was pretty good at that. And they do have an opening for a very famous black superhero that sadly the original actor passed away. And you've got this actor who's in shape, has already done, albeit a supervillain in the original, but give him the role. So, no. Eyes of Wakanda. Yeah, I remember seeing the synopsis, but I'm forgetting what it was. I think it's like an anthology of different tales from the past of Wakanda. It's Wakanda, not Wakanda. Fantastic Four, Vision. Oh yeah, that. There's a Shang-Chi 2, Armor Wars. I think Armor Wars is canceled. I don't think that one's happening. A. Thompson, it's monthly, Doug. Monthly. Yeah, but I don't really count the DP shows, especially since hardly anyone watches them, you know? So when it comes to movies, that's movies in the theater. So that's about 3 this year. Yeah. And one's already came and gone. So that leaves 2. And we'll see how that goes, you know. But I don't know. Once your brand is damaged, it's very, very hard to recover. Because the Daredevil show is slow and it's got problems and all that, but people didn't show up to begin with. So that's a bad sign. Especially since when it comes to those shows, Daredevil was the best they did. But, the Netflix one. So it's sad. But, sooner or later, you run out of time when you screw around with stupid crap. Kang Dynasty's gone. That's not happening. It is now Avengers Doomsday, to be followed by Avengers Secret Wars. And which they pretty much all but admitted will be a massive reboot, and which tends to mean, they're going to recast some characters and all that sort of thing. Although they're getting ready to reintroduce their X-Men. Of course, they've already got their Fantastic Four underway, so they could just move on to these other characters, I suppose. But eventually, you're going to have to recast your Captain America and Thor and stuff like that. And just say, well, it's a reboot, It doesn't have to be one long connected narrative all the time, It's okay that they exist in the same world and stuff, but they obviously to constantly be dependent on, all the way back to Iron Man, Anywho, there we go. Let me get to Photoshops, but I got to find something here in my collection of videos that, take up the time for the moment. Damn, what? I don't really have any. I haven't played this in a while. Okay, old trailers, but it'll work.
Teenage gang debs. They all talk, fight, and love just one way. Dirty. They're as mean and vicious as the cement jungle they live in. Teenage gang debs, the go-go girls who go too far. Kick-happy, thrill-hungry, always reckless, and willing. From backroom binges to back alley rumbles, anything goes. As long as it's violent. They respect no law but the code of the gang and swear their allegiance in blood. Underage, oversexed, girls who won't take no for an answer. Teenage gang debs.
doll is not a pretty picture. It can't be pretty and still be true, packed with shocking realities of what is happening today. In your city, your town, your neighborhood, thousands of young girls are becoming teenage dolls.
So after all these years of playing footsie, you finally decided to play ball. Poor little Janet. Always wanted to move uptown, but never had enough guts to do anything about it.
Shut up.
So now she's going to go, but she don't want to admit to her kid sister.
Girls who learn the naked facts of life too young, too soon, and the hard way. Hellcats in tight pants, running in packs, hunting down any girl who dares defy their jungle code.
Just clue me in on what happened. How, when, and why.
You said I could always come to you anytime, Val. That I was a new kind of girl for you, and that you'd fight the world if it was against me. Because the whole world is against me. I killed Nan Baker.
All right, we gotta get you out of town. Way out.
Fear-ridden, girls become captives of teenage hoodlums, thrill-hungry sensation seekers.
You may as well get ready, doll, to make the whole scene.
Well, we learned a lot there, didn't we? Well, that narrator of the first trailer, he just sounded like he was as bored as can be. Just didn't want anything. Oh, they're teenage gang Debs. They're all named Debbie. And, well, it's bad or something. Hey, Thompson, marble is trash now. I walked out of too. Yeah. Hey, Thompson, but I give most things a chance. But that is 2 strikes for Marvel. Well, I'm sure there's more to come, you know. Hey, Thompson, that lady got slammed nice. Well, yeah, she went and attacked the dude, you know, dummy. Hey, Thompson, equal rights equals equal brutality. Yeah, I don't think she sees it that way, you know. But, gee, what a way to find out. There we go. We'll make it easy that way. The Opsta. Yeah, I'm just going to nonchalantly suggest all kinds of horrible things about people and their marriages and stuff just because I'm mad and I didn't get my way. Let's see here. I'll do this. I'll do that. Screw it. I don't have to get the color accurate. No one cares. So anyway, you know, he's unleashed now. And in between walking down the street, videoing people here and there, he sits in his apartment and you know, talks to the chat and stuff, and then nothing of interest happens until, you know, somebody comes in and, hey, Opie, Anthony said this, and then he goes off and he's all mad and stuff. And but he does take time to put on a laugh or something, like he's like, everybody's stupid but me, and that sort of thing. But it's not all that convincing, but That's what he does. And if you ever wanted to know what it's like to be unleashed, there's a live stream that shows the whole thing from Opie. Oh well. But it's weird, you know. You would think certain things would rub off over the years, and you kind of learn things from others around you and stuff like that. But no, Opie knew better. Yes, they should be learning from me. Something like that. I don't know. It just didn't work out that way. Weird. There we go. Man, what was I thinking? Put all these lines in here. Damn, I need to do more drawings of him without the stupid hat. But boy, it's become a thing, you know. He wears it a lot. I think even more than, of course, what do I know? I'm only watching little clips people took, but seems to be in it a lot. He does have the baseball hat. Where's that? But he's done a few where he's not wearing a hat at all. And doesn't appear to know how to comb his hair. You know? There's been a few where it's kind of okay. And he's learned to shave again. I think he did a video where he said, yeah, somebody told me maybe I should. And I was like, okay. And so he did, you know. Because I don't care what he says. He wants a radio gig. And then who gets one? Anthony. Anthony gets one. And he's just like, what the hell is wrong with the world? He gets a radio gig and I don't? You know that's the deal. You know it. And his actions and attitude and approaches to it all will tell it. You don't need people saying it. And then it's like him and Kevin Brennan and all that. You know, the goalpost for Anthony's success in this endeavor keeps changing. You know, it's like, hey, he's in a little shitty Sunday night block. Yeah, it's in a little station in New York. Oh, it's syndicated. 300 stations after one episode. God, that's hilarious. There we go. But, you know, the case can be made, well, whatever, you know, just ignore the guy. Don't talk about him. You know, I mean, that's not going to happen with Anthony, I don't think. It's just too funny. But there's something to be said for that. Then I'll be damned. This business that he pulled about Sam Roberts, I just like, geez, that's just rotten. There are certain things you should not do. But it was also interesting. Anthony opined on this, of course, on the Who Are These podcasts, and that Opie's capable of convincing himself that the falsehoods that he, perpetrates and whatnot, he convinces himself that they are indeed true. And when it comes to lying and all this sort of thing that people do, you do see it. It's a bit of a, well, not a bit. It is quite the psychosis to a point. Not the psychosis of where you're, drooling and writing your memoirs in your own fecal matter on the wall and that sort of thing. But hang-ups and whatnot, anger and perceived slights. Certainly, the example of this Sam Roberts thing fits that to a T. And then, of course, all the Anthony stuff. So, I guess on some level, it's not like you say, "Hey, Opie, that's just not true," and he's not going to believe you, even though he's the origin of the falsehood. So, there he is. If I told you half of what I know, you'd drop all these guys like turds in the bowl. So, okay. Well, what a guy. He's willing to protect the terrible, diabolical secrets of very bad people. According to him. You understand. Yeah, let's see. A little red here, a little red there. The little red ribbon. Which, I don't know. Does she even wear that? I know she's in the dress. I remember people were talking about it. I've seen the trailer. I guess it looks all right. Since they at least want that part of Snow White to look like Snow White. And, but it's like from behind the scenes and stuff, and she was walking her, which I think that's another thing she complained that I had to wear this dress. And as if this was difficult, hard work. I don't know. Is there like a girdle part of it that just crushes her rib cage or something? But from the behind the scenes and just looking at her walking around at the back lot or whatever, it just looked like cheap Party City Snow White, which I don't know. Maybe they got it from there, before they went bankrupt. That's right. Party City went under. I don't know what we're going to do now. I guess we'll figure it out. So, but yeah, it looked cheap and stuff. But I don't know. I didn't see the movie, but I did see the trailer, and it looked all right. Although I gotta admit that I guess the headdress for Gal Gadot's Evil Queen didn't look that great. She did, of course. My God. She's a beautiful woman. It's too bad she didn't get to have a good send-off for Wonder Woman. That Wonder Woman 84 was just, I was stunned at how bad it was. What the hell happened? Not her fault, you know. She was just there to wear the suit and act and everything, but just the whole quantum leap, you know. Talk about without consent, where she just uses this other guy's body to be, I guess, a host for the spirit of her dead boyfriend. It's just like, I always thought it'd be hilarious that, you know, after Steve Trevor goes back to, I guess, the realm of the dead or whatever, and then she meets the other guy at the end of the movie. It's like it's, I guess, Christmas time, and she sees him on the street, you know. And I don't know if they were insinuating there that, oh, maybe she'll, you know, get to know this guy or whatever. But it would have been really funny if he revealed that he was gay. And it's like, now look what you did. Look what you made this guy do. It's just nobody saw that, you know. And there were like possibilities. You had this magic stone that they had in it, and that you know, Pedro Pascal was trying to get, and I mean, he did, you know. And you know, Diana's in that museum, and there's like displays and stuff. I think there even was one from World War One and all that. And I thought, well, there you go, like a mannequin of the pilot that like Steve Trevor was in the war. You just have that magically come to life, and it's you know, it's Steve back from the dead. And so Diana got her wish, you know, for him to be back. But they had to construe some kind of thing. But I mean, the ridiculous nature of it, to where it's, I don't know, I guess it would destroy the world. There was too many wishes or some such. Can't even remember. And then she had to convince the whole world to give up their wishes because, hey, that's just not right or whatever. I mean, you think about it, here's people who were either blind or paralyzed from the neck down. I wish I had full mobility again. Yeah, but you're just going to have to give that up for the greater good or something. Do you think they would? So, hey, look, I was, you know, minding my own business, being bedridden, and suddenly this great, amazing thing happened. And now you're telling me I just got to give it up? I don't think so. You know. Yeah, or it's like someone was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Well, I guess I'll just go back to dying. Yeah, well, Wonder Woman said so. Plus, they did, and that was the thing about it. People can say what they will about Zack Snyder, but there was some, you know, outline or template, and then when they decided to move away from it, they needed to replace it with some other outline. They didn't. So when you get to a Wonder Woman sequel that's actually a prequel, well, not a prequel to her movie, but I mean to the overall DCEU, there's no explanation as to why no one knew who she was. There's no explanation as to why she just stayed out of, you know, helping or anything. Because if with the Batman versus Superman movie, it's apparent, you know, she was around when the Kryptonians attacked and were on the cusp of destroying humanity. They were going to wipe them all out and take over the planet. And, well, you know, she's still depressed about Steve Trevor being dead. So she just didn't feel like, you know, helping Superman fight these alien invaders. So, but in the next movie, you know, she meets Bruce Wayne, and I don't know, I guess she thought he was cute. And Lex Luthor creates a Doomsday. Oh, no. And so she decides, all right, I guess I'll go help fight the monster, you know. But, you know, a small band of Kryptonians threatening to destroy all humanity by terraforming the planet. I don't know. I just don't feel like it. I mean, I'm so depressed. I haven't wanted to get out of bed in 100 years. I don't know. You know, you see that the 84 movie could have been that, you know, she's Wonder Woman. She comes out of Greek myth and stuff like that. Her mother's Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons, and all this stuff. You could have made it this fantastic tale that, I don't know, she went to another world and stuff. And by the time she gets back to Earth, it's, you know, it's kind of the current era or something like that. But they didn't. And then worst of all about it, that is, I don't know about, what's her name? Was it Krista Wiig, or I forget, you know, the Saturday Night Live girl who played Cheetah. She's just all of a sudden becomes Cheetah at the end. I mean, they gave her superpowers and stuff, but then she becomes Cheetah later, which would be akin to a second wish, which I didn't think you could do. I don't know. They just, oh yeah, we got to have her all become the cat lady. You know, towards the end, and you blink, you miss it. And you gotta, for Wonder Woman, Cheetah is like, that's like her Joker or Lex Luthor. That's how important that villain is to the Wonder Woman story. And it's just really dropped the ball on it. I mean, the narrative that they started out as friends, but, you know, she was intimidated by Diana's beauty and all this stuff and grew to hate her because of that. Even though there was really no threat. I mean, the Maxwell Lord, Pedro Pascal's character, did seem to be genuinely interested in her. So there was really, you know, no threat from another woman or anything like that. But she, you know, of course, you know, she has her own insecurities anyway. And I suppose you could go with that route, but it just wasn't thought out at all on any level. It's just sad. And then the whole thing collapsed, so Gal Gadot doesn't get another chance. But at least she did get a second Wonder Woman movie, unlike Henry Cavill, who got nothing. I don't know what the deal was there. But, I mean, I know they wanted him to do a bunch of cameos, and he refused. He wanted that he'll do it if he gets a new Man of Steel movie or something like that. At least that's the story. I don't know. But, there was bad blood there, I guess. When all went up in smoke. So, about Henry Cavill, I figured, hey, look, if he couldn't have Superman, the best thing, and seems to be in large agreement, is that he should be the next James Bond. And I suppose there's a chance there because he is involved with doing films and TV shows for Amazon. And so since Amazon now controls James Bond, seems like, oh, well, maybe they would cast Henry. But considering what Amazon has done with Lord of the Rings, you really want to see this? I mean, I don't know. I'm extremely dubious. But it would be a good casting choice provided they're actually going to do, you know, James Bond. And if they're so hung up on modern times and whatnot, then just make it a period piece and put him back in the 60s. There we go. Who's the fairest of them all? Well, yeah. Only time will tell. Oh, let's see here. Where did I leave off? I give most things a chance. Yeah. A. Thompson, that lady. Oh, no. I already did read that. thanks for coming to Karmic Stream. I passed out, but left it on to get him the watch hour. Oh, wait. A. Thompson, unique stream snipes, ants, WABC show. My God, Doug, it's 14 minutes of content per hour. The rest is all advertising. I can't with that shit. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I only heard like a couple of ads. I mean, I listened to the podcast version. I can't catch it live. I don't know. Maybe there's more ads live. Yeah, I didn't bother me. Hey, Tom, what a nightmare. We analyzed it at, oh, good Lord. 0826. He came back from break, took 2 fake phone calls. Fake? You mean the lady and the guy? It didn't sound fake to me. And went back to break. Yeah, okay, whatever. I enjoyed the show. I think it's good. St. Ranger, howdy, Doug. Good afternoon. A. Thompson, cars for kids, gold in the IRA, just the same 3 to 4 ads for hours. Well, the show's only 2, so St. Ranger, good likeness of Opie. Why, thank you. A. Thompson, Opie looks like he should be fishing for lobster in Gloucester, Mass. You know, that's a funny thing, because I remember him for a while there. He would talk about fishing, and he was a big fan of what was it called? Wicked Tuna, I think, was a reality show about fishermen. And I kind of thought maybe he would get into that, you know, and do a podcast about fishing and all that. But I guess the ambition was really not there. A. Thompson, I'll take my daughter to see it. I bet it is okay. Wicked was good. That girl can sing. A. Thompson, amazing to see the U.S. stores go under. We still have them here. Toys R Us, Western Sizzler, Swenson's, Auntie Anne's, some cookie shop. Actually, I take it back. Texas Chicken looks closed. Well, eventually they all go away. But Toys R Us is packed. They might go under. Most of the toys are shitty Marvel Disney action figures no one wants. Well, you see, that's part of the problem, you know. You damage the brand, and that's it. The toys just collect dust. There was some attempt to bring Toys R Us back, but I don't know. I mean, I don't. Is this really Toys R Us? You gotta wonder. But there was some investment firm, one of them or something, you know, the brand name and whatnot. I don't know. Even Circuit City, I think someone was trying to relaunch that. But anyway, St. Ranger picture reminds me of the Queen and Alice in Wonderland screaming off with her head. Yeah. That was the one Tim Burton did. What's her name? Helena Bonham Carter, I believe. That Tim Burton, they were married for a while anyway. I think they divorced. But I think that was her in there. You know, exaggerated, you understand. She doesn't really look like that. Terry Nee, is that a bad thing? Oh, thing. What do you mean? That she looks like the Queen? I don't know. Hey, Thompson, we just got Cheesecake Factory and Krispy Kreme. They seem to be doing well. Oh, that's nice. St. Ranger, not a bad thing at all. I was saying that the drawing reminds me of the Disney style or look. I read Disney comics as a kid besides DC. In 1968, a Reader's Digest sized comic called Walt Disney's Comic. Yeah, they used to do Walt Disney comics. Hey, Thompson, we don't have a Party City, though. Well, we don't either. They went under. You know, There's now there's another theory going along that there's these predatory investment firms buying up these, and they short them to cash in on the failure of them, even though by the books they were profitable. I'm not a financial whiz, but you can't help but wonder. I mean, there's been some bad things and stuff happens. There was COVID, and then the massive inflation we've been under, stuff like that. It's enough to collapse any business. But if it was healthy enough, you can weather the storm usually. So perhaps something is afoot. Hey, Thompson, Jacqueline is a fake caller, 100%. Jacqueline. I thought her name was Sandra. I can't remember the dude. I don't know. Was this like the other show, like last week's show? Because I don't think I got. I actually did catch that one live. I woke up right as the show was ending, so I caught the last few snippets of it. And then I think I got interrupted while I was listening to the podcast to catch up. Damn. So I don't know. I don't know who Jacqueline is. Hey, Thompson, Wicked Tuna is 12 miles behind this house. The fishing is amazing where he lives. So that's the deal. That's where that show is shot. Hey, Thompson, Radio Shack needs to come back. Well, it's a brand name. Someone could buy it, or I'm sure someone does own it and attempt to do it. But what are your metrics that there's demand for it? That's the deal. Why plunge the money into risking that when it's all for naught? That's the only problem with that sort of thing. Once there's been a massive failure, it's like, you know what? If I had charge of that, I bet I could bring it back. And sometimes, like I said, I've heard the rumblings. I just don't see any evidence that anyone's been able to resurrect any of these businesses. There's always buyouts and mergers and whatnot, and some of those kind of survive in that state of affairs. But usually when they're gone, they're gone. All right, there we go. Opie and Rachel Snow White. Weird, but really, Rachel was really stupid and damaged her own reputation, I would think, with this. But the movie was doomed to failure to begin with. Opie, what he said about Sam is that's pretty bad. Really shouldn't do things like that. But what's done is done, I guess. But then again, of course, consider the source, it's just Opie, so I just say it will be all right. Anyway, there we go. An Opie picture and Rachel Ziegler. Who'd have thought I'd draw Rachel? Well, I did. There it is. And that's that. But I'll probably put that on the thumbnail for Doomcock's Wednesday night show. It seems fitting. Yeah. All right. As always, thanks for showing up and watching me draw and color the drawings that I drew, that I drawed. I know the proper way to say it. And listen to me ramble on and get way off the subject and whatever, as I do, as I slip into my senility, So there we go. Another little Monday tour of me doing artwork. How about that? Wasn't that nice? All right. We'll do it again soon. And I'll see you later. So have a good rest of your day.
It's Monday. It's Monday. Yeah. It's Monday. Woo! So sick of this racist crap. This racist crap. racist crap. This racist crap.
I saw a few of them. St. Ranger. Don't have any of them. I had more Bugs Bunny stuff, but saw a few. There we go. And now, yes, I have to go. Have a good day.